Okay, so what are we going to talk about? Oh,
I don't know.
what was part 2 from our last conversation? Because we said we'll bring Mr. Lowe.
I'm not going to tell you even if I did. No.
I guess you don't remember.
I don't.
All right, let's see. We talked about sexism. We talked about the Boy Scout. Oh, we did talk about the Boy Scouts. So, Mr. Lowe, apparently
You dragged me into hell.
Really,
and I hate you for it.
He really hates the Boy Scouts. Why do you hate the Boy Scouts, Quentin?
Watch the first episode.
Okay, Mr. Lowe, why did you think Boy Scouts would be good for him?
He probably hates the Boy Scouts for the same reason I recommended the Boy Scouts.
Oh, really?
Yo, what? So you knew I would hate it?
Oh yeah, I knew you would hate it.
I hate you now.
I wish you would let me know instead of me paying for it and
No,
listening
but
to it.
She paid a lot of money for that thing.
No, but I thought it would improve your social skills, and it would also.
I hate black people. Edit that out, please.
Interest-
Please edit that out.
No.
You know, no. Let me clarify. I hate black personalities. That hoodlum personality.
We touched on that last time.
No.
We
Have a personality. Don't be a movie cliche.
Okay. A stereotype? A
Sure.
stereotype. That's what you're upset with. All right. That actually reminds me of that time when we were so angry at each other. Mr. Lowe had to be a liaison.
Going, like, somewhat off topic. I mean, not exactly.
That's what you're supposed to do in these interviews. Go off topic and talk
It's
about
a
things.
conversation. We're
Now
just making a
shush. You're
conversation.
making the editing process weird.
Yes. You remember when you had to be a liaison between both of us?
Right.
And you had said something enlightening at the time, which was that Quentin feels like he has to be the representative of black people when he's in certain situations.
Because black people
Right.
could be better. They could be so much better in the way they present themselves and the way they advocate for things. Not what they're doing now. Well, some of them are doing it right, but no. They're really not.
So what can they do better?
Not what they're doing now.
Well, you're kind of falling into the same trap that you're accusing other people of doing.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You're lumping them into this big category.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take into account where you live. Where do you live?
Southeast.
Right.
No, you
Used to.
don't.
Not anymore.
Uh-huh.
Well, not Southeast, but you live in an urban environment. You live in D.C.
It ain't a big city.
It's not, but that
Not
makes
this way or this way.
that makes it even worse because it's less representative of the black population at large.
Are you saying it could be worse?
It could be worse and
Oh,
it
God.
could be better.
We're a very condensed city. So
Yeah.
It could
it's
be
like
worse.
you
Oh, my
could-
God.
You could run into a lot of people.
You're acting like I
one
don't
day.
look at the news or something.
Well, the news is one thing, but your personal experience is another.
You literally just said it could be worse, and my personal experience already says it's bad.
Right.
You could still
I feel
be
like I'm
living
the
in
only one
Southeast.
drinking this. Can you guys take a sip out of this so I don't feel singled out?
Why you feel so thirsty?
Drink. Go.
We just
take
started
take a
talking.
take a sip. You too. Go.
Quentin.
Take a drink. Take a swing.
I don't.
Take
How
a
are you
shot.
making people drink?
Shot.
Quentin.
Shot.
Aren't you a bad influence?
He's acting like those people he accused of being
yeah.
whatever hoodlums or whatever you
Fight
call them.
fire with not fire. That's a bad idea. Because then you're just making more fire. Use water like a normal person. Why did you decide to use fire? That's weird.
Okay, you've completely drifted off.
I did not drift
Yes, you
off.
did.
I am the most well known for staying on topic without taking medication.
You haven't taken your
I have
medicine
not
this
taken
morning.
medicine.
That shows.
I probably shouldn't say this because I'm showing my cards,
What?
but that's his pattern. He has to do this 10-minute thing before he.
Why do you have so many pins in that pocket? Like, when is it enough pins?
Right.
I just wanted
It's
to
to
point.
take notes about you.
I'm pretty sure there's more than just two. I've seen 4 pins in there before.
No, you've never seen 4.
I've seen 4. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen a lot more than 2.
Well, I have sort of like a compulsive personality.
Oh.
So I would never put 4 pins in my pocket.
Oh,
Oh,
'cause
wait,
that
do
would
you
be
think
insane.
4 is a bad number too?
No. It's just I got used to 2. So once I get used to something,
Alrighty, trying to remember our last therapy session because it was really good. Also, it was a communication discussion.
yeah.
Whereas the
The generation gap was in there somewhere.
we also have touched on our abandonment issues, right? So, I obviously have abandonment issues because my father left me when I was young, my adoptive father, and Quentin, if I recall right from what you've told me, he feels abandoned when I just simply don't listen to him.
Yeah.
Like you did just now, earlier, over there.
And I have stated, I probably have a touch of ADHD. Plus, when I'm stressed, like doing all these recordings, besides this one, I had another interview earlier. And so my mind was
Really
set.
fast interview.
My mind was set on being prepared for that interview, so I was not paying attention to you, Glenn, as much as you wish I was.
Yeah, you're terrible at multitasking as much as you like to talk about how good you are at
I
multitasking.
never said I was good at multitasking, and I know I'm not very
No, you love talking about, oh, I had to do this, oh, I had to do that. That's why I can't do this, because I had to do so many things.
She does have to do so many things.
No, so many things.
Okay, she does have to do so many things.
Ah, good job. I told you I could get him to say tings. I told you I could get him
We
to say
had
tings.
this argument?
No, we
over
didn't.
there?
I'm pretending like I'm
Okay.
good at something.
Okay.
All
All right. Doing offensive Chinese accents. All right.
I can also get him to say all right, because he says all right all the time.
Okay, Quentin.
Okay, I'm going to get you to say all right.
All right.
With some... Ah! I got
So
him.
now that we got that out of the way.
Had to do it to him.
All right.
Cue
Let's
the meme.
elaborate sexism.
Yeah, but
Why
I
you
want to
want
go
him to
back
be
to
one?
him. Why does
Okay.
he have an objection with you doing so many things?
So many tings.
Is there an
Once.
alternative?
Oh, it's because her excuse for not being able to do other tings is that she did too many tings.
But what's the
Or
alternative?
her excuse for being upset and dragging everyone else in the house down is because she did too many tings that day.
Well,
When
can't
she's
she-
mad, everyone needs to be
Well,
upset.
let me
No
ask
one
you
is
this.
allowed to be happy.
Can't she get away with not doing those things?
What do you do anyway? You don't even have a job right now.
I'm trying to start a business. I'm trying to make relationships. I have several projects.
How does it take so long? Why does it take so long? I feel like you're on Facebook most of the time, which you definitely are. Don't see? She's smiling. She knows.
All right, I'm addicted to Facebook.
The camera's pointed right at you.
Mister,
Zoom in.
I'm also.
Don't actually zoom in.
You're addicted to Quora.
And YouTube. Don't forget that.
Yes. That
Speaking
too.
of YouTube,
No.
make sure to go down in the description.
Oh my goodness.
Press that like button. Subscribe, and while you're doing that, hit that notification bell so you never miss a
Don't
future
do
upload.
this at all anymore.
Don't do
in
this
our-
anymore. Okay.
in our
I'll do it at the
situation.
very end.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. All right. So.
Also,
Jesus.
teachers don't seem to know this for some reason. There's a little autoplay slider over there. Just slide it off so it doesn't say it's loading to the next video.
Quentin, let's move on. So, do you want me to just drop everything?
I just finished.
All right. Do you want me to drop everything for you when you're talking to me?
No,
Is
what
that
I'm
it?
upset about is that your excuse for things is always that you did too many things. That's not a good excuse.
Okay, why do you use an excuse rather than an explanation?
That's not an explanation, that's an excuse. An explanation would give actual reasoning of why you were incapable or were not capable of doing something.
Right, so you...
An excuse is a reason to not have to do something that you could be doing.
Okay, so you don't think what she did so many things.
Doing so many things should not affect your ability to do another thing unless you are about to collapse from dehydration.
No, that's not true.
Okay, this has been bothering me for a while, so I'll just say it. So you know how in the media, and especially, we always want to know the top billionaires and how they do it, what they do in the morning, and
I
how
don't
they
care.
become successful. They want to. I always hear.
It's always dumb luck.
It's always well, yeah.
No.
More or
It's
less.
always
It's
dumb
not
luck
dumb
and
luck.
having
It's
charm.
not dumb luck.
But they always want to know, their steps to success or how they got there, right?
Dumb luck.
But in my daily
See,
dailiness,
you say not always.
It's never dumb luck.
it's a little
You said
bit.
not always just a second ago.
Well, it's not always.
Look,
It's
I
a
got back
chance.
up. I always go on the side
There's
of
a
the person
small-
that's agreeing with me,
I've
like most
noticed
humans do.
there is usually sometimes a small chance of luck if someone has faith in you, or if you have a supporting parent. It's usually a little bit of one or the other that gave them some sort of mix of the right pot of
That
success.
speed boost.
Pot of success. But I've
Speed
also
boost.
noticed in my daily life and in my experiences that I live on a day of stress, and I've learned and lived to be okay with that. I try not to dwell on it, like, oh, how I'm going to pay my rent or how I'm going to do this. But as you know, in history, as soon as somebody has lived one particular life, like the stock market crash, people were committing suicide, or their housing or their farming situation went terribly bad. They see no hope, and they commit suicide.
So what's
usually.
your point?
I'm saying we admire the rich, but we should also admire how the poor has been able to stay in their circumstances and not break. Because that is a strength I don't think most people can be okay or comfortable with.
We should commend people for being good at staying poor and
No,
not killing themselves.
it's a
for being
survival
Yes.
level.
Not
I'm
killing
saying-
themselves. Yes.
I'm
Yes, you
sa-
should.
just
Oh,
like
I deserve a medal.
for
You
ex-
do.
for
You
example,
do deserve a medal.
For
Exactly.
example-
You deserve. Wait, dude.
Well,
I don't
I
know.
don't
if you're
deserve
poor.
one.
He don't deserve no medal. He cracked.
and I'll give this an example,
She don't
right?
deserve a medal.
We ignore the homeless people, but guess what? They could be the criminals trying to mug you.
I always
Right?
think about
Yeah, that's
that.
why you need to stay away from them homeless people.
But I'm saying they're the people that decided not to mug you,
Right.
right?
So stay away
There's
from
the
them homeless people
alternative
because they
that
still
people
could.
will suffer in silence or do the means of harming trying to survive, right? So we downplay
Oh, that's your
the
point.
fight and flight mentality, but I'm like, that is actually something I think that should be honorable, because we've learned how to survive but not harm anyone and not commit suicide.
Did you know that they wanted to add another one to those fight or flight things?
So back to what we were saying earlier.
Nice job cutting me off with your woman-splaining.
Sorry.
Woman-interrupting.
I
I already finished my point. Still found it rude.
Don't apologize.
in
you're
my
right.
mind, as much as you think I'm dwelling on Facebook or I'm not doing much, in my mind I'm thinking a million things at a time.
No, you're thinking, look at this cat video. This is hilarious. Quentin, wake up.
Well, maybe I also want to zone out from my horrible life of trying to pay rent or trying to.
Oh
stay
my god,
afloat.
you have to pay rent? Folks, she is the only human that has to pay rent. This is insane.
Yeah.
Whoa, you're
Well,
like,
the stresses of
Oh my
no
God.
one to help me pay rent and still have to keep food and.
oh my goodness, no one
and
helps
keep
her
a
pay
roof
rent?
over-
Oh god.
I
Oh.
love the sympathy and sarcasm. at
The
same time
struggles
out
with
of
this
you.
one are real.
Mhm. Well, that's why, excuse me if I'm not paying attention to, the latest video game or somebody.
Oh
has-
no, it's not your paying attention thing. It's your anger that you go out of nowhere. You have very extreme emotions, like you rather laugh for literally no reason. See, like right there, you chuckle, or you are enraged because you dropped something, and then everyone needs to be upset because you're upset. And when we try to calm you down, you're like, no, everything is so hard. I have to pay rent.
Well, most parents have a way of just keeping their anger inside, and they might be a little ticked off.
You
Don't
think
say anything until.
You think I don't have stored up anger? I have stored up anger all the time.
Well, wait a
but I
minute.
don't
Well,
yell
hold
at
up, hold
everyone.
up, hold up.
Oh,
Because
I
she-
wanted you to say "we
Hold
them
on.
boys" afterward.
Oh,
We them boys.
she's talking about her own emotions. She didn't say you didn't have emotions. So when she talks
she's
about.
trying to justify things that she does based on her emotions, and I'm like, you think you're the only one?
She never said that. She never said that.
I never said she never said that.
Yes, she did. You implied it.
Fell on my
Because when she was explaining her emotions, you said, "Oh, you think you're the only one?" She never said she was the only one. She was saying how she feels. So, if you feel that way, you should say how you feel. It doesn't have to be in competition with the way your mother feels.
But everything's a competition.
No, everything
Like, I'm
is.
making a competition out of saying competition more times than you, and I'm winning.
Yeah, you probably are. But that's the
Competition.
American way. We all fighting over this one slice of pie. And
Did someone
nobody-
say pie? What type?
Well, why don't you bake another pie? Why do we
I don't
all
know how to
fight
make
over?
pie.
So you
I'll
rather
Google
fight
it.
over a slice of pie? Learn how to make a pie.
No, fighting over things is awesome.
Yeah, and that's the American way.
Exactly. This man gets it.
So you feel like the times that you've gotten angry, like even fighting with your brother.
I don't
let
drag
you-
everyone else
I let you
down.
have
I walk
space.
into my room. What you do is you yell at everyone and blame everyone for all of your problems.
Which is a good thing. She's the head of the house, so that's what she does.
We had this story before, so I don't know if you know the show Modern Family, where it's three different families. So the mom is like gun ho and catching the teenagers partying, and then the fathers actually caught the kids, but they decide not to tell the parents because they know if the moms know. Yes, they will bring down the whole mood and shut down everything.
doesn't that just make everything inconvenient for everyone? If they were just more relaxed in that episode, nothing would have happened. Well, at least not as much would have
What you
happened.
mean nothing would have happened?
They would have told the mothers about the party that was going to happen.
No, they wouldn't have.
The kids would have got.
Nah, they wouldn't.
If they didn't
I
have
mean,
the
it's
youth
a
react, that
horrible
was the whole point of the
stereotype,
story.
but moms are usually the stricter and the angrier ones, and the dads are usually the more lenient ones. So, and they want to keep the household at peace usually, where, you know, like
not
even
clean.
Latinas are known to have the worst temper, which she, Eva Longo, no, it's not her name. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
know.
her name,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about,
Mhm.
right? So she
Yeah.
has the temper, so
Right.
they're just always trying to keep the peace if they can. Otherwise, you know, you have
And
tempers
doesn't that
flare.
make things inconvenient?
I'm
If you
saying
were just more calm, no one would have to feel the need to constantly be watching their backs or being cautious. That's just annoying.
Yeah, but the whole point of having a show like that in a sitcom
We're not talking about a show, we're talking about real life.
well, that's what I'm
Modern
getting
Family
to.
is a documentary
Art.
after all.
art imitates life. Life
Thank you.
imitates
That's why it works. That's why it's popular. Because people can identify with what's going on there. Because it goes on in families all the time.
And isn't that inconvenient?
No, it's not inconvenient. That's the way.
I mean, families are
Are
going
we
to get
talking about
angry.
different things?
No.
You might be talking about different things.
We're not talking about different things.
I've
Maybe.
told you before, if you live in a household, even with us or without us, and we
Am
have
I
your
alone in
roommates,
this right now?
I'm saying you're
Yes,
gonna have
you
you're
are.
gonna be angry with
Oh,
your
this
best
is great.
friends. Have you ever been angry with your best friends ever?
Yes, but I don't try to justify my anger by pointing things out at them. I just keep it all condensed and don't talk about it like a normal person.
Well, that's one of the reasons why you go to therapy, I hope,
Exactly.
when you do show up.
Exactly.
No, but and part of it is.
Actually, I did sass talk about my friends in therapy. Sorry, Brian. And Adam and Barnaby and literally everyone.
But part of that is being an adolescent. Because they're caught in that strange netherworld between childhood and adulthood.
I feel like I'm constantly
I
being
was-
attacked in this.
Yeah.
I tell
It's
Quentin.
great.
That's how you feel.
Well, I
'cause
tell Quentin
you are.
in
You're
a
trapped.
living situation in particular. So when he has roommates, he's gonna want to choke that person out. As
Oh,
much
I
as he does
did. My one
his
roommate. Oh
brother.
my god.
You talking about camp? At camp, your roommate?
Yes.
Okay.
What other roommate?
I was just making sure, but yes.
No,
so
name one other roommate that you can be confused
just-
with.
Well, your brother. Your brother's considered a roommate.
Yeah, but part of that comes from being an adolescent.
So, out of your 1 and 2 options, you decided to go what one? When I said
I'm
that
just
one roommate.
Making sure.
How
I
could you
just-
make sure when there is literally brother and one other roommate? Okay, yeah, I'm overdoing this right now.
You are. Okay.
Well,
But
You see, when I realize I'm being irrational, I just admit it and I leave. When you're being irrational, you're still right at the end. In your mind, anyway, not actually.
I've apologized every once in
You've
a while.
apologized, but it's never quick.
Yes, I take time to apologize.
Now, first you justify it, and then you apologize.
Adults do that.
No, you do that.
Okay, so you've met an adult that will apologize immediately for their bad behavior.
That's not my point right now, but yes, I have.
Who? One of
Like,
your
I know them
teachers?
by name.
Mr. L?
It was a long time ago.
Okay, alright,
You
okay.
expected me to know the name to everyone.
I'm just saying,
Name
by
one of your
human habit, usually they go on the defense before they realize they're wrong.
Which is really weird to me, because I don't really do that often. I just go, oh, okay, you got me. I just admit it, and then I go, okay, that's great.
That's a good quality to have.
Matter of fact, we got a recording of it.
This is low and battery.
I'm the punching bag.
All right.
It's low and battery.
Okay, we'll
Good
just keep
job.
on going until it turns on.
Does it save when it dies?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, it will. All right, you. Let's see. I love the conversation we had about how people should be treated. So there's the saying, people should be treated the way they want to be treated, or people should be treated how
They
you would
would.
want to be treated.
Know how they would want to be treated.
Did I say the same thing? No. All right, so there's two different ways.
You treat people the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated.
No, the conversation was, should you treat a person the way they should be treated, or the quotation from the Bible where it says, love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay, you just made it overly complicated and mentioned the Bible. I get bingo.
How do you get bingo?
Yeah,
I
so
made a
that
sheet
means
over there.
should you treat people the way you want to be treated, or should you treat people the way they want to be treated? That was the conversation.
Right. And so I think overall is the way they want to be treated, but in maybe short term, because if you don't know that person,
Right.
how you would want to be treated.
Take a drink out of your tea.
Because if you're first meeting somebody, the only thing that you know is how you want to be treated. So that's what you go with. I mean, you can't treat people the way they want to be treated if you don't know them.
For example, I want you to drink your tea right now because that's what I would be doing right now.
Why are you a control freak right now?
Because I want him to drink his tea.
does
Because
not
I've
feel
been,
like drinking
I have
his
been
tea.
on camera drinking
You're
my
the-
tea too often.
Because you're talking a lot, so maybe you need to bring it down a bit.
You're right.
There you go. You won't be talking so much. You won't be thirsty so much.
See, I just admitted she was right.
Yeah, that's that anxiety, social anxiety. That's why I wanted you
Yeah,
to
I
go to
do
the Boy
have
Scouts.
that. I do have that.
Social anxiety?
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I just admitted it. I'm not going to argue. I'm mentioning
So
it,
the
but
Boy
I'm not
Scouts
arguing.
was supposed to give him more confidence?
Oh, but you
Yeah,
do know that
the
when I
opportunity, you need to be in group situations
hate-
with your peers to work your way through it.
when I hate a certain type of personality, I'm not going to like them over time. I'm just going to keep hating them.
Well, it's not the like, it's the manage. You don't have to like.
No,
them.
I don't. I can manage it.
Right.
I'm not going to enjoy any of it.
You're not
though.
supposed to enjoy it.
So why are you making me pay money? No, her pay money to,
To learn
do
it, you learn a skill. Social skills. There's skills. that
I already
people-
have the skills. Not to pay the
Wow.
bills though. I don't have money.
I don't know about that social skill things.
Seems to have better social skills than me.
That's
but
right.
I'm very
Can
awkward.
you say that again much louder and facing the camera? I'm
Ah,
trying to
stop.
turn your head.
Stop.
Okay, say it.
You really think
No?
he has
Okay,
better
go.
social skills?
No, say
Well,
it.
I haven't observed you as
Point the
often
camera
as
at-
I've
I'm very
observed.
awkward in public places and with
Really?
strangers.
Activate laugh.
Because I was homeschooled, so
Oh, okay.
I was very sheltered. So,
See, you get my point. You were homeschooled and sheltered.
Right.
Maybe if you were in the Girl Scouts, it would have helped you to interact with your peers. That's basically what you're saying. Because you were homeschooled, you didn't get that interaction with your peers.
That's why, I mean, I presume that's why public school.
Did you just assume her
was-
gender?
Huh?
Did you just assume her gender?
What you mean?
You just assumed her gender.
What do you mean?
You think just because she's the mother of 2 children means that she is a woman? You just assumed her gender. That's
Well,
not
I'm
cool.
gonna keep on assuming her gender. That's
Oh.
what I do.
That's sexist.
Well, I grew up in the 70s, so hey.
No. Oh, he's that old. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm that old.
My default mind is like, this person is 20.
No, you don't.
My brain by default is like, this person is 20.
Everyone's 20.
Everyone is 20. I don't see age.
Not with all the gray hairs.
I don't see
You
age.
count my gray hairs all the time.
I don't see age.
Okay, well,
Just like how I don't see gender, race, or being an illegal. I'm joking. That's the only thing that I see, you being illegal.
okay.
Oh yeah, you are for the wall. Well, not.
No,
for
I'm
the
not
wall.
for the
The
wall.
illegal immigration.
I'm not for
stuff.
illegal
Illegal
immigration.
Okay. All right.
The wall is a waste of money.
But see, you.
And I'm okay with immigrants coming in.
Well, what's
You
that
just
thing
need
in
to
the
be
Matrix
documented.
with which one is the red pill is the bad pill?
That's the
right?
first Matrix movie. That's the
The
very
red pill
first
and the blue
one.
pill. Which is the bad pill? The red pill.
That was the red one, I
you
think.
just swallowed.
No, it was the blue one. The blue one's the bad one.
No, it was the red.
It was the
pill.
blue one.
Red is
blue pill.
always the bad pill. Red is always.
No, I could have
bad.
sworn the red one was
Are
the
you
good
Well,
really
one.
anyway.
gonna look it up?
Yes.
The mere fact that you're sitting here having a conversation, injecting in the conversation this whole thing about illegal immigration, means you swallow the pill.
You realize there's more complexity of immigration and being illegal, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But the whole thing about
I'm
that
not gonna
whole
talk
argument
about
about
all of it
illegal immigration, why do immigrants come here?
Oh, the irony is usually the corrupt government and the lack of opportunities.
Right, they come here to work.
Right.
Okay, so if I have illegal people coming
You're right.
here to work,
It was the red one.
There.
how do
You
I
win.
stop immigration?
I had read this interesting article from my kids' homework actually that said if the U.S. actually tried to support the economy in Mexico, that would actually help towards
They don't
jobs.
even. It's
and-
simpler
and-
than
and
that.
Business. Okay, how's it simpler than
We
that?
do not have enough workers to support our own economy. If you look into agriculture, meat packing, and dairy, we could not function without immigrants. That's basically what's happening. If we find the people who hired the immigrants would not come here. They come here to fill a void that the government knows exists, and they allow and encourage immigration. They encourage illegal immigration. That's the dirty little secret that nobody talks about.
Yeah, it's so dirty. The president is not for it.
Mom had died.
Camera died.
Aw.
Well,
Alright.
that's the end.
No, let's see if we can get another
Well,
camera.
the other camera
Battery.
is still on.
Well, go upstairs and ask them.
Hey, the other camera died, so you guys know what? That's going to be the end. So while you're scrolling down to click on another video, make sure you also click on that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you never miss a future upload.
Really? I had a counter argument with that. So I wanted to say something. What time do you have to leave? You want to leave soon? 10 minutes.
No, I can probably stay.
From a certain
Is that
angle.
time right?
Oh, let me see.
From a certain angle, this looks like dark green, actually.
It's 11:51.
Okay, that's right. Okay, I could probably stay till 12:30.
Please don't. You said 12:30? Shit.
I wish I found both their birth certificates. If I did, we would go to the Social Security office and try to get your card.
You get cards for what?
is another form of identification.
Can I just tell them
No, you need a little paper card.
it needs to be the
I
birth
don't even
certificate?
know how to have valid identification.
I feel like they just look at it and go like, nah. They don't actually document it.
Yes, I do.
Maybe a photocopy. Wish I could find a copy.
You can't find the Social Security card?
Yeah, I have a bad habit of reading stuff. Okay.
Well, we might have to do some brief therapy on that. Losing stuff. There's a simple solution to losing stuff.
I need to be more organized.
Have I been right about a single thing in any of these conversations?
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Okay, no, it's not
I'm
necessarily being right thing. It's an opinion.
Well, I'm going to tell you why you haven't been right in this conversation. Because you never stick with one topic long enough to get to the conclusion.
Oh yeah, I
Right in
told
the-
you I don't fight for things.
Right
I
in the
just-
middle of you
I
know,
just
it's
go
not
like-
even fighting. You bring up a problem and then you switch over to something else.
Yeah, I just
All
go
right.
like, okay, you're
Xavier,
right. I'm not gonna argue.
Xavier, come on, come on.
But it's
come on.
not about arguing. It's discussing.
Come
Well,
on.
it is argument, but argument has
No,
taken-
eat your pizza. Don't you dare go back to your job.
Quentin!
Eat. Eat.
Come on. Apparently only been recording for 30 minutes.
argument has taken on a bad connotation. You know,
It really has, hasn't it?
when you go to
You're no longer.
when you go to school and learn
Mhm.
logic
They started at
logic
Mark
starts
Quentin.
with an argument.
Oh, me, because I have something to
Need
say.
another moment of silence or no?
Yes.
It's recording.
Okay, now talk. It was a big enough moment of silence. It's fine. Go. Say something.
Oh,
Say. Say it.
Really? Oh, so I have some Native American friends, and they believe actually there's no such thing as
That you
illegal.
should bang drums in front of white children wearing manga hats.
There's no such thing as illegal.
I said manga instead of magna. Wait, what is it again?
Stop.
MAGA.
see how
MAGA.
you
It's
switching?
MAGA.
See how you switching topics?
It's MAGA.
There's no such thing as stolen land. No, darn it. Okay. There's no such thing as illegal immigrants on stolen land. That's what Native Americans think.
Oh, that's because their butt hurt that their land got stolen.
Really, Quentin?
It's true.
Damn. You know that's staying in the video, right?
I never said to take it out.
All right, fine.
Came up with that saying because you butt hurt white people
Okay,
stole your land.
okay,
And I'm happy they
okay.
did because I live in it.
You are messed up. Well,
What? I ain't upset that I'm alive.
Well, how is not stealing the land?
If they didn't steal the
Negates
land,
your
I
birth.
wouldn't have been born probably.
That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, well, the whole black slavery thing.
You might have been born someplace else.
How would she meet up?
Huh? This
Well,
is
you
not
know
the
how
only
it's
place you can meet. There's thousands of permutations on how you can meet somebody.
It's not likely.
Why not?
Because the entire Americas wouldn't exist.
That's not true. America would exist. It just have a different.
Well, it wouldn't have been
configuration.
colonized, so she wouldn't have been on it.
That's not necessarily true either.
That was also where Lynn lived.
Remember, I was in Taiwan.
Exactly.
Anyways, so I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this
Enjoy
way.
your plantations, Native Americans.
So I don't know if you noticed any of the movies.
What was it called?
that came-
Plantation? I might have just said something really racist.
So have you seen the movies that came out recently? With
They're called reserves, right?
what are you talking?
The
Reservation.
Reservations.
Reservation.
I said plantation.
So there's two movies that came out recently, and they depict like opioid, addicts and such, but they're white stories,
Right.
right? And I feel like they portray, they emulate. Oh, let's have sympathy with white people with addiction or alcoholism or whatever,
Yeah.
but still not portraying black people with that same type of empathy. And they were still like, it's their fault, it's their problem, and it's their own reasons to be in that situation. I mean, do you feel the same way, or do you feel like either or? Does it still hurt or help the cause to bring more empathy to people with addictions or mental health?
Yeah, I think it always helps when you portray something with empathy. I wouldn't want to take the empathy away from the characters in the opioid films. I just would want to add the empathy to the other films that we see.
Mm.
It's there, but it's glossed over. Like the first one that jumps into my mind is Jungle Fever
Really?
with the guy Gator. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I've
You
heard
never
of
seen
it.
that? Yeah.
No, I have to look at it.
Because the sympathy is there, but it's not well developed.
So those are, I know one of the movies is based on a true story, and I've been trying to figure out how would it look like if we just go ahead and change the race. For example, like we've done Hamilton, changing the race, and that's also, I don't know if we could spin it, but is that also cultural
Wait, the mic
appropriation?
wasn't plugged in?
No. Mom, did you unplug it?
Oh, I
earlier?
did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we'll take the audio from that one.
Okay. So.
Oh, did you move that? Move it back towards us. The
It's
mic
fine.
itself. What do you mean it's fine? No,
not
it's
fine?
not. It's a
Okay.
microphone. Oh, it wasn't that bent towards us, but that also works.
Okay. So, a cultural, what's the word? Cultural.
Cultural appropriation.
Appropriation.
A subject that I would talk about, but y'all just shoot me down, and I really don't care enough to argue because I barely got sleep.
So, is it inappropriate, though, for example, with Hamilton, to be switching white characters with black characters?
How is that appropriation? They just gave black people more jobs.
No, but I mean, originally they were white, right? So,
No, that would
Right.
actually be like, because you would literally be neglecting black people of having a role, and then that would be a whole other issue.
I mean, but the argument would be is there originally were white people. Or
Yeah,
they
personally,
look
I don't
white.
really care that they made the characters black, and I wouldn't have cared if they made them white either. Actually, I might have appreciated it more if they made them white, because when I saw Hamilton, I might have, been more immersed if they were the correct race. But I also like that they had black people singing it because, let's face it, black people are better at singing.
I
Okay.
think it's the form that
I never
you're
said
trying
white
to.
people were bad at singing. I just want to make
because they
that
are
clear.
rapping. And
Yeah, it's the form you're trying to present.
And yes, the form that they were singing also helped black people out.
Because it's a play, it's a musical.
Right.
Yeah, and
not
it's all
a
about
doc-
that hip hop. You
It's
have to
not a
have the
doc-
blacks.
It's not a documentary,
So, out of some reflection of looking at media, though, for
I
example,
thought you were going to say looking at memes, and I was going to be like, we talk about memes.
I'm realizing we have The Crown, we have Games of Thrones,
It's not called Games of Thrones. It's called Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Were you about to say Grain of Thrones?
Okay, I ruined titles. Leave me alone. So, I feel like it is a means of constantly
Memes.
I don't know
Memes.
what I'm trying to say. Anyways, it is a way of constantly feeding us to make us think unintentionally maybe that the monarch is still good, it still should be around, that we still gawk at the...
Hey, maybe wait till the door is closed. Okay, now repeat
Okay.
your sentence.
Okay, so for example, when it comes to The Crown on Netflix or Games of Thrones,
Do you just say Games of Thrones? It's Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, and how we gawk at of the royal monarch. I think
Right.
it's a means, a way of, I don't know how many times they keep on retelling King of Arthur.
Right.
I'm a little sick of it. I don't know, and I just feel like it's a way of keeping the
You
monarch.
just said King of Arthur?
King Arthur. They keep on rebooting.
You said King of Arthur.
Okay, King
Well,
Arthur.
she's making a point. Come on, I'm trying to
They-
hear the point.
Hey, don't make a
Keep on
point unless you're
interrupting.
going to say it correctly.
It's a
But
way- it's
she's
a-
gonna have to
I'm
keep
not
on
interrupting.
repeating it.
I'm man-interrupting.
Okay, whatever.
we are, it is entertaining, but at the same time I also feel like we're internalizing that, the British monarch is oh so fabulous and should stay there.
Do you actually think those things where you see it, or do you think, oh my god, this reboot again? Personally, when I see it, I'm like, awesome, this version of Arthur looks cool. They made Merlin young.
But I would
And
like,
played by Sir Patrick.
with the
whatever his
popularity
name
of
is.
Black Panther, even though it's fictional, very, very fictional, I think the media, in particular, the movie industry, should tell stories from other cultures. If it's in Saudi Arabia, I mean, not bashing Aladdin, but I'm like real stories, actual stories, and fairy tales or whatever, equivalent to King Arthur, but from other countries, and give children, our media, a different perspective and not gawk at the British monarch all the time.
Yeah, but
British
those-
people are awesome. They have tea that we dumped.
Well, the thing is, these
That is China
things are
Both have tea.
and Saudi
are
Arabia.
money-making enterprise.
Damn.
So they're trying to make money. I mean,
Take a sip from your tea, please.
Oh my goodness!
Please.
You need another forum to do what you're talking about. That used to be the purpose of public TV, but the kind of funding
Mom,
was
take
taken
a sip
out of
of
that.
your tea, please.
Oh, PBS and all
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Please drink your tea before Xavier
Well,
took
no,
it.
because Downtown Abbey and all that other shows that kind of stuff, they masterpiece on PBS.
That's
it's all-
popular. People want
And
to
it's still
watch it.
perpetuating British monarchy and society.
But
and
that's
I'm
what
like,
that's our culture.
Because society loves talking about the British monarchy.
No, that's our
This is
culture.
America. We don't care.
yes, you even have a fascination. You want to go to school in Britain.
British people's accents are awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, but that's our culture.
That was a horrible British accent. I deserve to die.
So, we're taught that in school. I still remember all the stuff I learned in the 4th grade.
People are
Oh,
smarter if they have a
I
British
also
accent.
wish that, besides it
Do
shouldn't
you
just be a
actually
month,
wish this, or
Black
are you just
History
saying
Month,
this?
but it shouldn't also just be narrowed to just African American, but also world. Let's make it world Black.
Well, there was a
Black
move
History
to do
world.
that in
So
the
Actually,
70s
Morgan
and the
Freeman-
early 80s, but they killed it.
they killed it.
Morgan
Why?
Freeman actually said something very interesting
Why did
about.
they kill it?
People just went away from
Yeah,
it.
just ignore me. That's cool. I won't even
Sorry.
say.
Well, you were changing the subject. We
You
were talking
always
about...
No, I wasn't going to change the subject. I was actually going to add to what you
What
said.
about Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman said something very interesting about how he actually doesn't like the idea of Black History Month. Now, I'm not going to say what he said because I don't want to butcher what
You
he
just
said.
brought it up.
Just
though.
play a clip when you edit it.
Is he narrowing it or broadening it? Saying more than just a month, or are you saying it should be not talking?
Getting rid of it entirely.
So
Play
you
the
should
clip.
not learn.
Play
so
the
you're
clip.
saying you should not learn anything about
You know what?
famous Black people?
I'll just show you the clip right now and just edit out me showing you the clip.
Lord.
So this
Okay. Yeah, y'all keep talking while I find it, y'all.
Well, okay. So my other. Well, I don't want to, because then I was going to change the subject a little bit about.
I think the seating,
Famous women.
I'm thinking about this. I think the seating has something to do with the dynamic.
Oh, if we sat differently.
Yeah, if we sat differently, I think the dynamic would be different.
Really.
Yeah.
So where do you think, if I was sitting in the middle and he was sitting here, then what?
Huh?
I would probably be bashed more.
I mean,
No,
Quentin-
Bash, the flow would probably go better.
Well, Quentin's been adding a lot of stuff, so I just keep Quentin in the shot. That's a lot easier, but Mom is the main person that's supposed to be focused, but then, I guess
Who's been talking the most?
I think
Quentin. Yes.
Stuck between Quentin and Mom. You're last, Mr.
Yeah.
Lowe.
Well, hey, that's
Which
what
is
I
why
do.
each time all three of you are talking, I point it this way.
Okay.
Because you're important.
Did you
but
find
Just worry.
Morgan Freeman?
If I had found it, I would have told you.
But
Such a
during
smart
the 70s and the early 80s, though, there was a move to be more multicultural with schools, and then the Empire Strikes Back, and the conservatives took control of the schools, especially here in D.C.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bad here in D.C. with the rise of the charter schools and privatization, and that lady that really ruined things. Michelle Reed.
Read, yeah.
Yeah, she really killed a lot of the programs that were put in place, and you know, she called it a performance
She
agenda.
thought it wasn't helping.
Yeah, she didn't think it was helping. She took a total corporate approach to schools, but it wasn't real. You know, being a therapist, it's interesting if you watched her. You know her claim to fame, right?
What was her claim to fame?
She taught the 3rd grade for
Oh yeah,
2
I think
years.
this is the
Oh,
one.
right.
So when people interview her, her statement was, anybody who wants to make a career out of teaching and teach more than 2 years, I don't think they deserve to be a teacher. That's what she said.
Let me show it, guys.
All right.
History Month, you find ridiculous. Why? You're gonna relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on, what do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on. But, I'm Jewish. Okay, which month is Jewish History Month? There isn't one. Oh, why not? Do you want one? No, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. How are we going to get rid of racism? Stop talking about it.
Stop talking about it?
I'm going to stop calling you a white man. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
And it's kind of cut short, and it seems very old. So I
It
don't know
was
if
cut
he's-
short and it was old.
But other people have made that point, but
So pointing out a race makes it hard, makes it...
Yes, because if you keep on pointing out races, then you're only going to continue to think about race. And if you're constantly thinking about race, then you're only going to keep on subconsciously thinking of someone's race and associating it with certain things.
okay, we're going to go back to arguments. And if you take that and look at it logically, it does not work. That's what's the term from it? What's it? Non sequitur. It does not follow.
So maybe it really needs to be addressed about how they're teaching race,
Yes.
right?
You cannot
Because-
say because
Right.
if I'm black and you don't say I'm black, that I'm no longer black. You know, that doesn't
Just
follow.
blend lessons about black history into normal history lessons throughout
The
the school year.
But it won't work
What do you mean it won't work?
because you can't do
Just
it
bring
that
up
way.
Frederick Douglass
No,
while talking
okay,
about the Civil
okay.
War. You
The
don't need
best-
to wait till a month.
The best
certain month
analogy
to
that
do
I
it.
heard is we're having a race. Okay.
Race.
We're having a 100-yard race. You've already got a 50-yard head start, and you want to say go. You can't start.
Take out your gun and shoot them.
You can't start in the middle when somebody has a 50-yard head start. That's not going to work. There has to be
Right.
some methods or strategies put in there to help the other group catch up. Then we could race.
So once every 12 yards, that guy needs to stop running, right?
Something needs to happen.
I mean, the hardest part about trying to address race is when you're in a situation where it is a school system that is majority one race. That's really the toughness of trying
Okay, yeah, I think me
to
sitting
align.
here is making you guys talk to me, so let's make
No.
you sit there so we're talking to
No,
you.
I refuse to sit there.
Okay, you sit there.
That is going to be very
Fine.
hard for the camera.
Okay. Yeah.
There.
Ha.
Now you put it in his head about the dynamic. All right, fine. This feels weird, but okay.
Stay there.
Really? Okay.
Well, there is something called
Here.
structural family therapy that I should have thought about before this whole thing started.
You're
Do
thinking
you want to?
He took a drink!
Because of
Oh my god!
structural family therapy would have said we do it this way.
Just sit up.
No.
So in the news recently, they had a child. She was picked to be the slave, and it was. Oh, and
Pick
this
to be the slave.
oh,
for
this child thinks that the noose on a hoodie is not racist.
what? Show the image.
And
How old is he?
oh, plus
How old is he?
it
It was a hoodie, and the strings for the hoodie made a noose.
But you're 15, right?
and they
Yeah.
said it was
Okay, he's
making
15.
light of suicide and racism.
But he's 15, so.
So he
Stop making a
So
noose synonymous with racism. It's a device to use to kill people like a gun
A
is.
noose is synonymous with racism.
Well, then
But
if we
because
stop
it-
talking about
No,
it, then it
because
won't
of
be.
your age, you don't realize that. But older people remember where that was the purpose
And then
of
once
a
them
noose.
older people are dead, then we can
No,
put
they're
nooses
not.
on all
Well,
the hoodies.
Once they're dead, you can do it. But while they're still alive, they remember being intimidated by a noose. A noose
Alright.
had a message.
I'll wait till y'all dead, then I'll put a noose as a necklace.
well that sounds
No, I won't do all that. That's
similar to
extra.
what I heard Oprah apparently said that if a certain population or racist population is dead, then that will end racism. But
Yeah.
that is fallible to me because because racist people usually raise racist kids.
Right.
That's why it's lasted for this long. Like,
Well, according to
because-
you, I'm racist, and according to someone else, I'm sexist, but you're the one that raised me.
well, we also joke you went so far left.
Yes,
you
I went
became
so
right.
far left that I went right again.
Yes. And there's this video I'll show you later about
Because I used to be very, very left.
people that
But then one day I just went. I'm not saying that I'm Republican, but like,
you like questioning everything.
I do question a lot
You
of things
question
liberals
over
say
top
these
of the
days.
question. But he loves Bernie. He's very excited.
Bernie,
is
please,
running
Bernie,
up for-
please,
That's
Bernie,
the only
Bernie,
thing I
don't
guess
die
I've
before
done
you
right.
win. Bernie, don't die before you win. Socialism is great.
That's the only thing I did right.
Socialism is great.
Even though he won't even give me any
Can we-
credit for his
Just make
personality
money
or-
not a thing anymore. I'm making very radical statements
Uh-huh.
now. Just don't make money a thing anymore. Just give everyone an equal amount of things. That would be great. Thank you.
So sometimes
Bernie, don't die before you. Don't die, Bernie.
Okay,
Do
are you
not-
done?
Don't die
You
on
are
us,
wasting time.
Bernie.
You saying the same thing over and over again.
Bernie.
I'm gonna cut this.
And while you're not dying, Bernie, make sure to go down in the
So
description.
I wanted to know.
Press that
Since
like
you
button.
know about personalities more in depth. I want to get some credit for how I raised him, but he thinks he would have been this way either way because of genetics.
No.
That's an ongoing debate. Let's
It's
not
not
talk
an
about
ongoing
It
debate.
is.
That
It
has-
is.
no,
No, you're
that's
wrong
been
about this
settled.
one. You're
Nature
wrong about
versus
this
That's been
nurture.
settled.
Nature versus nurture. That's an ongoing
It's
debate.
not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
It.
It's not. It's been settled.
I just made the flip. Put the camera.
That was-
Point the camera at that.
And so you're saying because you flipped that, that means
That means I was right.
you're right.
It's
Okay.
all in the way.
Okay, don't worry about it. Put it back
Now
up.
put it back.
So my next most controversial statement that I guess kind of leads way to the other thing. I'm a little tired of people gawking over some particular women. So it was made, was it
Hidden Figures was a good movie. I like
Barack
that movie.
Obama, President Barack Obama, said, "Oh, I am Michelle's husband," and that Curry guy, Stephen Curry, said, "I am Aisha's husband." So that was their means of leveling sexism, right? So instead of the women saying
have
that they're the
something here.
wives of famous people, but I mean, to be fair, they wouldn't be famous if it weren't for their husbands.
Right.
I'm a little tired. I'm sorry. You're gawking over Michelle and Meghan Merkel.
Well, what the hell did they do? You got
And they're-
something here.
they're-
Can you
okay,
get that?
and
No,
they're-
other side.
And
other
they're
side,
only
okay.
famous really because of their husbands, right?
Right.
Oh, I remember an old friend of mine was like, "Oh, we gotta dress like them and act like them to meet their level of whatever." And I'm like, they just married into, royalty or married into, with a politician. So I'm sorry, I do not want to necessarily aspire to them because it was really based on marriage. Just saying. But anyways, I guess I'm
It's
weird.
it's
to not want to-
no. A lot of people see that because it seems fake and it's not genuine. It's not genuine. It's like the kids that go to the sports banquet and everybody gets a trophy. You know?
Yeah, that's bull.
Even a little kid that sat on the bench and didn't contribute to any of the wins.
You get a trophy because you were there.
You were there.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing with those the people you were talking about. You get a trophy because you were there, not because you did anything, but you were there. So good job.
So I can understand the way you feel.
See, we all agree.
But in you know, in psychology, they talk about feelings of efficacy. You know, people want
Who
to
needs
feel
ethics when you have logic?
not ethics, efficacy,
So
Ooh,
what's that?
different. Ooh,
not a th.
ooh.
So you want to. Everybody wants to feel useful.
Okay.
You know, everybody wants to contribute. So you should give people an opportunity to contribute.
So, is that means of feeling good when you give?
Yeah,
Like in Christmas time
for Christmas time.
or Thanksgiving. I really love that. When everyone wants to give to the poor and feel good about themselves, like, oh, I serve the homeless.
Right, but there's a
Because-
real
whole other
okay,
year they don't
there's a
give
real
a
Okay,
purpose
there's
in
no
that.
need to be upset about that because if Christmas wasn't there, then we would be neglecting homeless people the entire year.
Well, no, Christmas, the only thing they try to do is toys for tots and give toys for the kids that can't afford
That's
it.
not. That's
For
not the only thing they
Thanksgiving,
do.
for Thanksgiving, they talk about, oh, let's feed the homeless, but they don't care about feeding the homeless the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
We should be happy that those holidays are there because they're there to remind us, hey,
But
help
how can
humans.
yeah, but one time out of the year, the whole other time,
That's the best we can
walk
do.
by them
No.
and ignore them.
Yes, we're not going to care about them. Are you saying that you're going to help homeless people for the entire year now?
If I could, I would.
Oh, so if you could, you would. So when would you do
I'm
it?
working
then?
on it now.
Well, that's you know.
Are you saying that when you're rich, you're going to help homeless people all the time?
Right
every
now,
time?
I'm working with somebody in my group therapy that is homeless, that wants to be vocal and be involved in politics, and I'm trying to give her that avenue.
And how many people do you think are in a similar situation as you, where they also want to help the homeless, but they can't because of where they are right now? It's not any different. They're still going to be homeless at the end
Well,
of the
did
day.
did you ever hear
So
the
let's
story
help them
about the
those few
little?
times throughout the
Hey,
year.
this is a perfect
That's the
story.
best we
There's a
can
little
do.
girl who was throwing starfish back in the sea. You ever hear that story? Oh, you never heard that one.
No,
Well,
tell me.
I'm interested.
there was a
now.
little girl and her father, and they were walking along the beach.
Life's a beach.
And it was after high tide, so low tide, the tide had gone out. There was starfish, and she was throwing them back in the sea. And then the father said, well, what are you doing that for? It's too many of them. You can't save all the starfish. But she said, I can save that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
You can't help the homeless people throughout the whole year.
But you could save that one.
Finally, we're both getting her now. Because she in the middle. Now it's your turn. Get in there.
So you
I'm not joking.
you can't do everything, but if you have the opportunity to feed that one person that one day, that helps.
Day of the year.
That helps.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do to do it throughout the whole year. And you'll never get every single one, even if you could.
But that you never know what might happen as a result.
So, which is worse, or if it's all the same? Genuine, like caring and want to help the poor, or self-involved, like, oh, I'm here for a picture moment.
I gave a homeless
See,
man
we-
$20 once.
See what I'm doing, the types that like, oh, I will do it with a camera.
Never got
is
those
taking a
$20
picture of
back.
me doing it.
Well, I think it depends on where that act of kindness or that resources goes. You think about somebody like the United Way. People at the end of the year, they give them money to help with their taxes. But
Okay.
still, that's money that contributes to an organization that helps all year long. So, I mean, it depends on where that resource.
Who it is? Okay.
Well, where it
Or how
goes.
they do it. Okay.
If Trump gives me $1 or if Henry White gives me $1, it's still $1.
That's an awesome fake name.
Henry White.
Henry White.
Well, it's actually not a
Oh, it's not
fake
a fake.
name.
Oh, who is that? I'm taking that
Okay. It was
Henry
actually a Henry White,
for a short story. I'm taking
and I think his father was James White.
And the irony, white but a black man, just like you always say the other way around. Anyways.
You're acting like that's a new thing. I have a friend
I
named
know.
Io White.
Okay.
That's going on for a while now.
Okay.
Look at Jack Black.
Who is Jack Black?
He's an actor.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
I was about to.
The School of Rock or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
He's white, but his last name Black.
I don't think he's totally white though.
And I don't think most black people are solely black.
Well, most of
There's
them
probably-
are, surprisingly.
What's funny is that you have just enough black DNA in you. A white man can easily look black, but if you have just enough white DNA in you, you will still look black, and people will consider you to be black.
But why is that? Why is it that way?
Because if you add some black to some gray, it's going to
Yeah,
look
it had
black. And
nothing
if
to
you
do
add
with-
some black to some white, it's going to look gray, which is just enough to look
No.
black.
In America, they established the one drop rule. That if they could document one drop of black blood, then you're considered black.
By that logic, Mr. L is black because he is actually 0.2% black.
He would be if we went back in the day, which wasn't that long ago, which basically was the 60s.
His great-grandmother, I believe, was black.
You had to keep that hidden back in the day. You couldn't let anybody know.
Because apparently his father told him, and he didn't believe him. I might be remembering the story wrong. Sorry, Mr. L. Yeah, and he, didn't believe him. And then he got that ancestry test, and then he was like, holy crap.
I guess it's true.
So he's allowed to say 0.2% of the N-word.
Oh my goodness. Oh yes, that.
I'm half black. I
Ew.
can only say nig. I only get one G. I don't get access to the other G.
I don't think anybody, but that's
I think everybody should be
that's
allowed
again,
to use it.
That's another generational
Because saying
thing.
people aren't allowed to say a word based on their race is racist. We should let everyone say it.
Well, I don't think black people should say it.
I
I'm in
think-
the minority, but
You
I
think no one should say it.
I
I
don't
think
think anybody
everyone
should.
should say it.
It's definitely a
Say it.
generational thing.
Say it.
One generation thinks that it should be never said at all.
See, you were raised by a black family and was raised in a black neighborhood.
They were also upper middle class, and so they're.
Are you saying that middle class
Bougie.
black people shouldn't say
Okay,
it?
you know my mother, so
it's
okay.
only poor black people can say it.
So
folks. Only poor black people.
I'm saying my mother also has a lot of self-hate. Does not even I was adopted. Does not consider herself black.
She's a nigga.
She always I think she could. Yeah, she called herself mixed because she has a Native American mother, I think, and then she said her father was half black.
I didn't know she was related to
half.
that one senator.
Really, you're gonna bring that?
Yeah, I don't even know her name.
But
Warren.
that's the powers that be. See, you bought into that. You swallowed that pill. They brought up that the powers that be have twisted and contorted that all around to make it into something that never was. Her statements, were taken all out of context. But that's what they do. Because she would be a legitimate challenge to the Republicans. So-
Sadly, I don't think Warren has a chance. I don't think she.
She ain't gonna
Maybe.
win.
I don't think too much controversy. She's not going to
But
appeal.
that's what I'm saying. They purposely
Yeah.
did that, and people buy into it. Just like people hate Miss Clinton. Why do people hate Miss Clinton?
So, well, Trump is that
Isn't it Mrs.
person. If I mean, I've been in different situations, like a person stealing my idea, a person that can get away with stuff, and Trump is definitely that person. Like
He is.
he's that person that can annoy you, and just as soon as you address him, then you're in trouble. And but he's the one that's been the agitator the whole time, but
Right.
you get in trouble.
1226.
So you can't fall into that pattern with him.
1226.
Fall into his games, because then you end up.
Yeah,
so,
he's like
He's good at that.
1226.
he's like
up.
the kid on the bus who's wearing a polyester jacket, but he's gonna
Uh-oh.
tease the kid with the nice leather jacket on because it's not a brand name. I've actually seen this happen.
That's hilarious.
And so everybody turns on the kid with the nice leather jacket. Oh, where you get that from? You see your mama, blah, 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 blah. And everybody attacks him. And it's all started by a kid wearing a polyester jacket. But everybody feeds into it. And that's what they did with Elizabeth Warren. Because if you watch her, she was up here. She was a legitimate challenger. So they've already started to diminish her in the eyes of the public, and people are buying into it.
It's working like
Well,
a charm.
since
People are
we're-
easy to manipulate.
Since all the
when I
politicians
feel
in the
like it.
Democratic Party are up, let's do a little bit of politics conversation, because I have a few words to say. Other than the fact, okay, this might be a little risky to say about Barack Obama's success, but I feel like because he was biracial, I think even in his upbringing, he definitely had a lot of white privilege.
He was white. Obama was basically a white man.
The way he portrayed himself and
See, stop
His history.
associating
And
black
his
people
history.
with being
His history.
Because I noticed that some people are like, oh, he's not black because he was born in a richer neighborhood. Like, that's...
That
you're
has nothing
only-
to do with it.
you're only bringing
no,
up more
You're
stereotypes by
making
doing that.
assumptions. You're making
No, I've heard people say stuff like that.
You haven't heard me
Okay,
say it.
yeah, I didn't hear you say. I didn't hear
Can
you
I
say
complete
it.
the
But
statement?
you just reminded me
No,
of people
no,
that
you-
say that. People need to
you
stop
jumped
doing
in there
that.
before I could elaborate on what I was saying.
No, that's based on the media.
Okay. It has nothing to do with his skin color or who his father was. He was raised by his mother,
Mother, right,
who was white.
and his grandparents.
And when she died, he was raised by his grandparents who were white. He grew up in Hawaii and Kansas.
Well, she died much later on, though. Like,
Who?
so there was a time of separation, but I'm like,
Yeah,
like
but
he
was,
had her for a long time.
He
Like,
did.
he was an
But
adult.
when
Yeah.
she died, he was raised by his grandparents.
No, because he was an adult.
Well, he lived with his
He
grandparents.
lived with his grandparents, right? Because
He
she
lived-
was in Indonesia. I actually did
Okay.
read his story. So
Well,
he was
he
in
was-
Indonesia. She
my-
stayed in Indonesia, and he had his high school
My
years
point is,
with
his grandparents were
yeah.
from Kansas.
Right,
So he grew up with a white mother
Mm-hmm.
and grandparents from Kansas.
right,
Okay. So culturally, he was not black.
right. Right. So, with that being said, I think he also carried himself and he portrays himself very differently. And in the eyes, I think he was more relatable for the American culture.
Because of his skin color.
Right, between his skin color and his attitude.
Right.
So with that being said, I actually think of all the people out there running for president, for Democrats, what's her name? Camille Harris has a better chance versus Corey. Well, who do you think?
And when was the Civil War? Civil War was, when was the Civil War?
I don't know.
1865.
Okay.
After 1865,
Yeah.
the black man was given the vote. Okay.
We are almost done, and I do not need to hear chips. Come here and sit down.
The women in America weren't given the vote till around 1922. So that lets you know all you need to know.
So you think what? You think Warren's gonna win?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying Miss Harris definitely will not win.
Okay. All
The
right.
legacy in this country, you know, the perfect person, the perfect woman situated to win was Hillary Clinton. And you saw what they did to her.
You knocked down the bigger fish.
Well,
The
do you
point
think
is-
if Joe Biden goes in, people are going to vote for Joe Biden? No. I don't. I'm sadly to say I don't think Bernie's going to win because he is too far left.
I know.
As he's too far left, I don't think.
Whoa. What if
People
you
would-
went far
Well,
enough
see,
left to go right?
but he's not genuine either.
Bernie.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
not genuine either because he
Joe Biden running? I want to tell him, Joe Biden yourself in the ass.
you know he's been an independent for years, but when he decides to run, he declares himself a Democrat, and then he you know, him and his followers get upset because the apparatus of the Democratic Party did not support it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Why
maybe
did-
maybe Hillary Clinton would have won.
How did
if
Bernie
he-
lose again? Did they both target him or
He's
something?
not a Democrat. He's under independent.
He's an independent.
But
But
I thought a lot of people liked him.
they do.
Yeah, but
Well, what the hell
but
happened?
we're a nation of two parties, so it's either Democrat or Republican, and Bernie's too far left to that. I'm not.
He's
not
too far
enough.
left to even qualify as.
Okay,
What?
so it's because we're a two-party system, Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, and he ran for Democrat.
But he didn't have the full support of the Democratic.
He will this time.
He won't.
You
I
know.
He
And,
won't.
you, and there's and
Oh,
we
I
have
do
way too
have the
many people
keys.
up for Democrat for being Democrat. It's
And I
It's
have the
gonna be crazy.
chapstick.
wonderful.
And tissues.
All right, so I guess. So wait, you haven't told me who you think might win or has a chance.
You don't need to tell you.
No,
I
I was just wondering.
It's free country.
I have no idea.
You
I'm gonna
have
go
no
call
idea?
for my bald eagle and ride my
Uh,
tractor away
if-
with my
if-
machine guns.
If Trump runs for re-election, I kind of feel like he'll get re-elected
That's
He
sad.
might.
That's
because
sad.
the Democrats have already started eating their own. See, that's the thing about Democrats; they eat their own.
They
Republicans
like
don't.
sharks. Smart sharks.
They've sold their soul for Trump.
Who, all the stuff that Trump has done, who in the Republican leadership has ever come out against it?
I mean, there were a few people that had some choice words, but then they ended up like
Right.
retracting and started
Exactly.
kissing ass.
That's how
so,
they do. But
yeah.
Democrats kill each other.
Well, the conversation is they haven't started talking bad about each other yet. So it'd
Oh,
be
yes.
nice if they had. If they don't,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
They have.
They already have.
They
See, finally we're getting her. 'Cause she's
Oh,
in the
okay. Oh, okay. The
Stay.
attack is in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming and doing this impromptu
All right.
therapy session.
It's a lot of work. A lot of work.
And we can hopefully see you this Saturday, Quentin. Are you going to show it to therapy? All right.
Remember, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and while you're doing that, remember to click that notification bell so you never miss a future upload.
Actors bow down to the camera. Wait, I need a
Really,
cameraman tribute.
Oh yeah, let's do one
It's
more.
the thing that looks.
I thought I could talk some more about Black history.
Oh, you want to?
No, I'm just joking.
Turn this one off, Xavier.
I could
It's been
talk all
recording
day
for an
about
hour.
that.
In 14 minutes.